Hi, everybody. Did you know that in North Carolina, a state law prevents cities from removing Confederate monuments? Wow. Did you know that? Well, I'll tell it to you. I knew that because I listen to NPR. North Carolina, a state law prevents cities from removing Confederate monuments. That didn't seem to faze a group of activists in Durham yesterday. They brought down the statue of a Confederate soldier. Want to see that? Want to see it happen? Here you go.
No KKK, no fascist USA! No cops, no
Yay! Then they start kicking it, which I don't recommend you kick a statue. That's like kicking a rock. It's not going to hurt the rock. It will just hurt your foot. I get it. Maybe spit on it or something. Maybe I don't know what you want to do there. You don't want to urinate in public because that's a crime. But watch, they start kicking it. And this guy here that guy hurt his foot. The guy in the blue hurt his foot. I'm going to show you. What? You watch. So watch the guy. Ow! Yeah. So I'm going to back it up one more time. The guy in the blue shirt hurts his foot. Ow, ow. You saw that, right? He's like, damn. So
he tried to walk it off. He's like, I meant to do that.
I like the guy playing the guitar kicks it. Look at this. This woman's really getting into it. Her foot is going to be bruised. There's no way around that. Those statues, they don't feel pain, just so you know. So that's illegal. They did that in Durham. That's illegal. And so the cops arrested 8 people for that. Did you know that? So they arrested people. The cops arrested 8 people for that.
How they, I mean, there's way more than 8 people there. Like, how they...
I guess they arrested 4, and then a bunch of people decided to show up. They went to the sheriff's office. It says, want to make sure you all saw this photo. It's the line of people in Durham waiting to turn themselves in for toppling the Confederate statue. So when they heard that they were arresting people, everybody there was like, well, we're going to go turn myself. Arrest all of us. Exactly what you said. Well, you can arrest somebody, arrest us. So it's like their Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am monument puller downer. I am monument puller downer. Right? So they're all doing that, which is really ass-kicking to see. In fact, you want to see it? You want to see here's a little video of them doing that. So they're all showing up. So this is them all showing up to go turn themselves in. So that's kind of like them saying, "Hey, your law is bullshit. Arrest us all. We don't care about your law." You want to build disrespect for the law? Pass a law that says you can't pull down racist statues. Talk about building. So that's the line of people waiting to go turn themselves in. What happened when they decided to turn themselves in? Well, deputies did not arrest rally participants who approached them claiming responsibility for the destruction of the historical statue. So people show up, hey, I did it. Arrest me. No, not arresting you. Isn't that weird?
Too much paperwork.
People admitting a crime. And you obviously want to arrest people for it. They remained outside, however, as police turned away everyone who did not have an outstanding arrest warrant under their name.
Did they, like, check one by one?
I guess they checked.
Like, what's your name? Let's run you through this.
Any warrants?
Yeah, nothing
nope.
on you.
Okay. Any warrants? Nope. Okay.
Boy, you know, after seeing all of those protesters and alt-right in Charlottesville and then seeing something like this, it gives me hope right now in the midst of all of this awfulness.
You know, I was one of those guys because when I grew up in Chicago, the Nazis used to march in Skokie. And there was a while when I was a kid, it was a big deal. The Nazis are going to do this. But after a while, people stopped caring. Because Skokie's, so anyway, it has a big Jewish population, whatever. But people stopped caring. And I don't know when, I don't think the Nazis still march through Skokie anymore. I can't remember the last time I heard anything about it. But when I was a kid, they used to do it, Skokie, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. They used to do it all the time. And it was a big deal. Remember, I don't know if you remember, but there was a movie, the Blues Brothers, with Dan Aykroyd John Belushi, and the Nazis show up in that because they're in Chicago, and the Nazis are marching, and they what do? They run him over. They ran him off the bridge. Remember that? Do you remember that movie?
No, I don't remember that part.
Such an
but
awesome movie.
people have been talking about it as of recent. But,
Oh, okay, because then the guy hate Nazis, and they just gun it, and the Nazis go flying off the bridge. Jimmy, that's hypocritical. You're against the white supremacists running over someone. Again, not if you're a Nazi. That's we're supposed to fight Nazis. We fought them in World War II when we went to Normandy. You're not like, hey, the Nazis have a right to. So, there you go. Good for those people. I used to be against. I was one of those guys who I was thinking when this first happened in Charlottesville on Friday. I was like, nobody show up. But it turns out, no, you can't not show up because those people surrounded churches. Did you know that? We've heard that they surrounded a synagogue. The guys with the torches surrounded synagogues, surrounded a church, a black church. Did you know this? Yeah.
And they were armed when they did it.
And they're armed.
Yeah.
So.
And no police in sight.
No police in sight. And, of course, I read a story today about how Antifa saved Cornel West and a bunch of other preachers. About 20 of them were out there, and the Nazis were getting ready to pummel them. And they created a line, and they were coming at them, and the Antifas came at them and broke it up. They broke up the Nazis. They started fighting with them and saved them. Cornel West said those guys saved his life. So this is good to see. So I'm not going to say that anymore about just ignore them. They go. That's what Tina Fey is saying. Tina Fey is saying just stay home, ignore them, and yeah, that's not going to work. I don't think this time. Especially the way that the mainstream media ignored Black Lives Matter and what they needed to be. You mean the way you didn't get off your ass to help anybody do anything? So now we should stay home. I don't know. I like Tina Fey. I think that's bad advice. But what do you guys think?
Well, I think that if we were under the guise that police were going to do their job, I mean, if we were under the guise that if you show up to a synagogue and you're waiting outside of it and you're a Nazi and you're armed, law enforcement's going to do something about that. I think if we could safely assume that was, I mean, a lot of this was a response to a lack of protection in the first place. So, I mean, I think that it'd be nice if just ignoring it would go away because you could be assured that those that are marginalized would be safe regardless. But unfortunately, that's not the world we're in right now.
I also think we all know and understand mob mentality.
Yep.
And that's what I kept seeing over and over again, that, I'm surrounded by like-minded haters, so let's go and beat the shit out of other people, and just like with abandon, like you just saw these people throwing themselves at other people and kicking them. And so you can't ignore that. You can't ignore that kind of violence on your street.
No, these guys are coming into your town. They're from other states. They're from other cities. And they all get together with torches to come into your town to F. No, you got to stand up to them.
I get freedom of speech. I don't get how you can march into a city and be threatening with being armed with helmets and clubs and heavy flashlights and everything that they're going to use as weapons. Go ahead, do your march, do your protest, but you don't get to have anything except your clothing.
I'm with you. When you go to the DNC or the RNC, you're not even allowed to have an umbrella. You're not allowed to have a sign. You're not allowed to have almost anything. You're not allowed to have anything. So they could have done that there. They didn't. Democratic governor, Democratic mayor. I'm not Durham, but I'm talking about Charlottesville.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people saying that they told the cops to pull back because they wanted to see this. They wanted to see violence happen for whatever reason. It served their purposes. That's what. It doesn't make any sense. We've done another video about it. I just got texts from somebody talking about it. Like, why weren't there's a lot of theories about why the cops didn't step in. Cops love to step in. That's what they live for, baby.
Maybe there weren't enough old women or pregnant women.
Maybe there weren't enough pregnant women or Native Americans that the cops could show up to brutalize. Mm-hmm. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe if there was some Native Americans there, the cops would have just started shooting concussion grenades at them.
Maybe none of the neo-Nazis had Skittles.
Maybe none of the neo-Nazis. So there you go. Good on you, Durham, and good on all those people with their Spartacus moment. That was fantastic to see. And it's good to see people coming, rising up against this.
Yes.
It really is, actually. At first I said, let's just ignore them. They're 500 idiots. But yeah, I think it's good. But also, don't let this standing up to these overtly outward racists and Nazis and white supremacists. Don't let it make you feel too good about we're taking care of racism. We're not. We still have, look at the prison population. We're not taking care of racism. Racism is in full steam right now, okay? We have a racist war on drugs. We have a racist criminal justice system, and that's just the start of it, okay? So there's a lot more racism endemic in our society than just these guys. So there's a real risk, like, we could stop these guys, and then we feel better about ourselves. We're not racist anymore in this country. Yeah, we are.